Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So make sure, if you have not already, to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Today we are going to be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin, analysing that, and we'll be talking about PayPal's new stablecoin, which has been launched on the Ethereum network. We'll be talking about what that means, why that's important for the cryptocurrency space, and what this could be signaling for the future of the cryptocurrency industry. So make sure to stay tuned until the very end and slap that like button. First of all, let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin this morning. Again, not much movement. I'm getting sick of saying this now. Bitcoin, please do something. We're begging you. It is up 0.44% within the last 24 hours to $29,165, and Ethereum is down slightly 0.2% to 1,828. Both of them could be doing a lot more. The volatility in the market is absolutely diabolical right now. There's really not much to trade. It's getting pretty boring, and as I've been saying since the start of this year, this is what we are expecting to continue here on the channel. I've been looking at the charts every single day, and after we saw that big move to the upside at the start of the year, I was saying we have a long period of time now with not much of a price range that we can act within, so we are going to see some sideways action, and that is exactly what we have seen for almost 2 months now. We have some price predictions from other analysts here in the news today, but let's talk about the cryptocurrency news first, and then we'll analyze the price of Bitcoin and see what's going on. First of all, I want to talk about what's going on with PayPal, because this is a major story right now. It may not look like it on the surface, but when you dig a little bit deeper, it's getting really, really interesting. Let's check in with the chat now. Good morning, Colin. Good morning, Teddy. Hello, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you very much for tuning in as always. Let's see what's in store today. What we have here is, let me check everything's set up correctly here. What we have here is, first of all, PayPal giants have launched a dollar-backed stablecoin. Now, this stablecoin is on the Ethereum network. First of all, that's a really positive thing for Ethereum. Imagine the TVL that's going to grow. Imagine the growth of the TVL on Ethereum, the transaction volume locked on the network, when we have players like PayPal making dollar-backed stablecoins. Now, this is a huge, huge move, and this brings a huge amount of potential for adoption for Ethereum within the next couple of months. This is a really, really exciting story, and typically you'd expect this to cause a huge movement in the price for Ethereum, but we're still within this same price range here. So let's take a look at this. We've got a few articles on this story today. First of all, online payment giant PayPal has announced its own regulated dollar-backed stablecoin called PayPal USD. So its ticker is PYUSD. Now, I would like to point out, this is a stablecoin which is centralized, and it has and PayPal have a huge amount of authority over the movements of this token. In just 2 movements and 2 transactions, they can completely wipe the PYUSD from your wallet. All they need to do is freeze it, and then they can remove it. I've seen that on Twitter this morning. In fact, let's pull that up. If I pull up Twitter here quickly, I can show you what I'm talking about here. So I believe that Ivan on Tech has just retweeted something about this. If we take a look at his Twitter here, you can see the new PayPal USD stablecoin has an asset protection rule which can wipe your balance in 2 transactions. So first we freeze the transactions, and then they wipe the frozen address. And in smart contract security, we call this a centralization attack vector. So essentially, they have a huge amount of power over this. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of stable coins, I would have to say, because they are tokens that we take profits into and then we hold for a period of time. We all see the risks around stable coins. Your assets can be frozen if you're using stable coins like PYUSD. We can also see tokens depegging, and I think that sometimes stable coins are a risk that you don't need to take. Obviously, they have shown in the long term that they can hold, like USDT, USDC, but with all the fear and all of the rumors surrounding around stablecoins that repeatedly get announced, I'm just not a big fan of stablecoins holding for the long term. I'd rather just hold my feet and then move it into cryptocurrency again when I'm ready. But what we can see here is PayPal have launched their own stablecoins, and they have this control over the token. But let's take a look at this article a little bit further. So PayPal also noted that its stablecoin will be available to external developers, wallets, and Web3 applications, and can be easily adopted by exchanges. So based on Ethereum, PayPal added that the stablecoin can also be used in DeFi. So we're talking about projects like Uniswap. We can use PayPal within those services. It's an Ethereum-based token. This is a massive, massive thing for the Ethereum network, and it may mean that we are going to see a huge amount of growth for the Ethereum network. I've seen Ivan on Tech this morning saying he has a price prediction of $10,000 within the next bull market for Ethereum because of this huge news. So most of the current volume of stablecoins is used in Web3 specific environments. PayPal USD will be compatible with that ecosystem from day one. Now, we also have heard here that they have slightly delayed the launch of this token, but what we have seen here, it is being launched by Paxos. Now, this is the issuer of BUSD, the stablecoin created by Binance. Now, this is a really interesting thing here because obviously we saw problems with Paxos and BUSD earlier this year, and now we're seeing the launch of PYUSD through Paxos. So let's talk about that quickly. PayPal's launch today comes 6 months after the company paused efforts to debut the stablecoin, citing increased scrutiny of cryptocurrencies and an investigation on its partner Paxos Trust. Paxos was under investigation by the NYDFS in February. However, the reasons and extent of the investigation remained unknown. It was during this situation that the company ended its relationship with Binance, announcing it would no longer mint the branded stablecoin BUSD stablecoin, Binance USD. So what we've seen is Paxos partners with Binance. They made BUSD. It was a huge success. BUSD is used in many different ways and used on the Binance exchange very, very frequently. And then some investigations went on with Paxos. Paxos decided to no longer mint BUSD. And then just a couple of months later, we hear that Paxos are partnering with PayPal to make PYUSD, a new stablecoin regulated and backed by PayPal, launching on the Ethereum network. Make of that what you will, but let's continue on to the next story to do with this. So Bitcoin and Ethereum have not reacted very positively to this news. They haven't really reacted at all. This is massive, massive news here, especially for Ethereum. We're going to see a huge amount of adoption for Ethereum off the back of this, I do believe. We are also going to see, as I said earlier, that TVL increase massively because of this, but it did not ignite the market. It didn't create much movement, so that's pretty sad to see. But this is a time in the market where interest is low. We're at the bear market, but we're at the bottom of the bear market now. I mean, the bottom, I think, is in, but we're at that point in time where we have this time period where we just have to sit and wait. And with that, the interest drops massively in the cryptocurrency space. This is why I think we haven't seen much interest in stories like this. However, I think PayPal have chosen now as the time because they want to get in ahead of the next bull market. So let's take a look at this next article to do with the story. So PayPal's regulated stablecoin is a watershed moment in the crypto space, says the partner Paxos. So the difference is significant because we have prudential regulator, says Paxos, head of strategy Waiter Hesset. So let's take a look at this. The dominant players in stablecoins, cryptocurrencies designed to mimic US dollars, don't appear to be flustered by fintech giant PayPal launching its own PUSD token. But it's a watershed moment in terms of bringing regulation to the space, according to Paxos. Now, we all know that the cryptocurrency industry needs regulation, and we also have the issue with regulation around stablecoins, and it seemed to be as two different matters for the space, really. We've seen that over and over again in many different regions. They're looking to regulate stablecoins, and they're looking to regulate digital assets. Obviously, stablecoins are majorly centralized, and we have all of those issues there, and the issues of making sure they're one-to-one backed, whereas with decentralized tokens like Ethereum, we have different issues there, and it's a completely different thing to regulate in a sense. So what we can see here is the vast majority of stablecoins in circulation are either USDT, created in the early days of crypto by the firm called Tether, whose market cap reached an all-time high of $83.2 billion in June. What we can see here is there's a glaring difference between PUSD and its other rivals. However, the head of strategy at Paxos has pointed out that PYUSD has a trust company regulated by the New York Department of Financial Services. So they're pointing the angle at this of we're regulated in a way that no other stablecoins are, and this is an issue that we've seen brewing for a while now. We've seen a lot of different regions pointing out we need regulation on stablecoin. It could not exist in the form that it's existing. We need to regulate that to make sure everything is backed correctly in the correct way. And then PayPal have swooped in and they have that regulation and they have this token ready to launch on the Ethereum network. Will they get market dominance? I doubt many people within the cryptocurrency space will be interested in this and moving away. However, what we can see is people want to trust their stablecoin is backed, and PYUSD can do that. The only thing that will deter cryptocurrency users is the fact that it's PayPal and they can just, in true transactions, as I said earlier, remove those tokens from your wallet. So there's two varying issues there. I mean, there's the brilliance of having a regulated stablecoin. A lot of people think that people in cryptocurrency don't want to see regulation. We do want to see regulation. We just don't want it to stop growth of the industry. Now, having stablecoins regulated is something I'm definitely on board up for. What we want to see is we want to make sure that our assets are actually backed 1-to-1. We want to make sure that we can always redeem our stablecoins with the dollar 1-to-1 if it's a US dollar backed stablecoin. Now that is something that we are on board with. Now the thing that people in cryptocurrency may not like about this one is that it's backed by PayPal, and PayPal have a history of making it difficult to access your funds sometimes, so people may not want PayPal to have the ability to freeze your tokens at any time. So there's the two different arguments there. So we can see here that we've got, in our case, you have a regulator overseeing every activity involved in the issuance, including the reserve management. It means no matter where you are in the world, anybody who has this token is protected by the oversight and rules that are set by us by New York. Now, that's a really important factor, as I was just saying there. Now, I think we've covered the meaning of that article, so let's move on to the next one. Since this token has gone live, PYUSD, we've seen fake PayPal USD tokens pop up on several blockchains. Some of these tokens can't be sold after purchase, while some can pull the rug at any moment. So just be very, very careful when investing in things like this. We see meme coins pop up all of the time when new fads and new hype is being created. So just be very, very careful and make sure you are investing. And make sure you do your due diligence before you invest. It's absolutely fine to get on board with these things and ride the hype, but make sure you aren't investing in something which you can't sell, like something we saw with that famous Netflix documentary. What was it called? Squid Game. There was a token that got created called Squid Game, or Squid, I can't remember, after Squid Game went live on Netflix and was the best performing show on Netflix. And you couldn't actually sell that token. So you could buy. There was a huge amount of buying pressure because a lot of people were buying into the token, seeing the price increase, but actually you could not sell unless you were a contract creator, unless you created the project. So what we were seeing is a huge amount of buying pressure, zero selling pressure, and then all of a sudden, bam, the founders decided to sell all their tokens and push it to zero. Now this is what some of these USD tokens are doing, these fake PayPal tokens, and others are just a complete rug pull, buying these tokens and then selling a load of them and causing the price to go to zero. So just be very, very careful on this as always. Let's take a look at the next story here and see what else is going on. Let's move on from this PayPal story now. It's a very, very in detail one, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about PayPal again at some point very, very soon. This is something that could change the game of crypto. We could see a huge amount of inflows because they are launching on the Ethereum network, and it is compatible with DeFi, with all of the different services on Ethereum. I think it's something that could massively change the space. Another thing, actually, before we move on from this, is I was looking at Ivan on Text Stream this morning, and he was saying he would not be surprised if they next went after USDT. BUSD is now gone, and what if they go after USDT? What if PayPal's PYUSD is the only at the moment they're saying they're the only regulated stablecoin on the Ethereum network? What if they can get enough market share to wipe out the other stablecoins? Tradfi are really trying to take the cryptocurrency industry right now, and it's really interesting to see how the industry can grow and gain that adoption, and how Tradfi can step into the space here. So let's keep a close eye on that, but let's next move on to Huobi and see what's going on there. We have seen lots of concerns recently around their liquidity and whether they have the reserves that they need. So, we are seeing here, Huobi is hit with crypto outflows amid insolvency rumors. So, we're seeing a huge amount of stablecoins, $57 million in USDT, being removed from the platform, from its users choosing to sell and remove their assets from the exchange because of these rumors of insolvency. Now, we are seeing reports of the executives being arrested in China. Now, Huobi have said this is not true. They've denied the reports, but the fear is still spreading. A lot of people that are in the space now were in the space when FTX collapsed in November last year, and that still feels a little bit raw. So whenever we see fears around this and similar to this, a lot of people are prepared to remove their assets as quickly as possible. And as always, I would like to say, make sure to store your cryptocurrency safely. Be careful and make sure you are doing your research into the safety, the different tiers of safety levels. We have centralized exchanges, which completely defeat the object of being of investing in decentralized assets. Self-custody does not exist on these platforms. Then we have different tiers, and as you go down the list, you get more and more secure. So make sure to do your research on that. Be very careful. There are obviously many benefits of using a centralized exchange, but you are taking on additional risks when you are doing so. So just be careful, and obviously keep your eye on stories like this, and just make sure to be proactive on things. But let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is happening with Huobi. So they have actually received $200 million in USDT and $9 million in Ethereum from a whale after these outflows are occurring. So let's see this. The whale made the first transfer of 200 million USDT on Tuesday morning, followed by a second transaction of 5,000 Ether valued at $9.15 million on Tuesday morning as well in Asian time. So the Huobi spokesperson denied that the address belongs to Justin Sun, and the address is tagged as one of the top 10 holders of TRX token. Now, the deposits bring Huobi's supply of USDT up to $273 million, according to DeFi Llama data. And Huobi also has a balance of 400 million STUSDT, a Sun-backed project described as the first real-world asset protocol on the Tron network. Now, a lot of people are concerned about the amount of reserves Huobi have being related to the Tron network, and these transactions come as outflows from Huobi continues. So this inflow of tokens, this deposit of tokens may be Justin Sun or Huobi may be behind this to try and reduce the amount of rumors and reduce the amount of concern around in the markets right now about the reserves dwindling massively there. But we'll have to keep a close eye on that, and as I said, always be careful. Now, before we get on to the next story here, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We've got a few short stories here today, and then we'll be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin. So first of all, a 19-year-old Instagram model who isn't real is making $10 million yearly. Now, this is obviously an AI-created Instagram model, and they are performing absolutely incredibly. They have more than 2.7 million and 3.5 million followers on Instagram and TikTok respectively, and we can see they are making $10 million per year. Not a bad business model there. I'll drop the link to this in today's chat, but let's move on to the next story here. So we have let's put this one at the end, actually. Let's do that one after. The National Crime Agency has begun expanding its digital assets team. So the UK National Crime Agency has begun hiring for their digital assets team, and the NCA is enhancing its digital assets investigation team by recruiting investors for its complex financial crime team, a team dedicated to addressing crypto-related offences. A selection of roles are advertised, including all of these roles here, and the roles entail investigating sophisticated instances of cryptocurrency fraud, money laundering, and other illicit activities conducted through blockchain by organised criminal factions. So that's what's happening here. I'll drop the link to this in the chat if anybody is interested in this. Let's move on to the next story here, though. Binance ditched USDC for other stablecoins, according to Brian Armstrong. So the CEO of Coinbase has claimed the world's largest exchange, Binance, has opted for less reputable stablecoins as opposed to USDC created by Circle. So Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, stated during its earnings call last week that Binance actually moved some of their funds from USDC into another stablecoin, stablecoin, and Binance's native stablecoin BUSD was minted and redeemed by Paxos until that got stopped in February this year. In the meantime, Paxos is allowed to fulfill redeem services for BUSD into dollars until February 2024. So BUSD's market cap has slowly dropped since the enforcement. We've just discussed this earlier in today's stream when we were discussing PayPal's new stablecoin, but we can see Binance's pushback of USDC and USDT. So Armstrong has stated, I think the data we have in the last 6 or 7 weeks, I believe that the USDC market cap is up net of that. And so that's an important data point. I think there was also a perception that merged just about US regulatory risk, and there was sort of that perception that USDC had more of a US nexus than Tether or something like that. There's been no tweets from CZ regarding Armstrong's comments at the time of writing. USDT's position at the top stablecoin was strengthened last week as Tether released its financial report for Q2, revealing it had $3.3 billion in excess reserves. Now that's a story we always like to see because Tether tend to put that money into Bitcoin. We like to see a nice rise off that. So what we are seeing here is Binance's search for a favoured stablecoin. Since BUSD had to stop minting in February this year, they're looking to diversify a little bit more. Maybe they'll be taking on PYUSD. I much doubt that. But for now, it's really interesting to see this shift in the stablecoins and this focus on the stablecoin industry right now. Obviously, as I just said, I am a fan of getting stablecoins regulated because we need to make sure they have the backing that they say they have. We don't want to see more depegging problems in the future, so we need to keep a close eye on that. But let's take a look at the next story here. So US Rep McHenry says clear stablecoin regulations are essential. Now this is essentially what we've been talking about throughout this stream. The committee chair said stablecoins would achieve their full potential if clear regulations and consumer protections were made available. So Patrick McHenry, the House Financial Services Committee chairman, has released a statement highlighting the need for clear stablecoin regulations following the latest move by payment giant PayPal. So this is still on the PayPal story here. They call for clear stablecoin regulation. PayPal announced the launch of its regulated dollar-backed stablecoin called PayPal USD in partnership with Paxos Trust Company. And the digital asset, fully backed by USD deposits, short-term US treasuries, and similar cash equivalents, would be issued by American customers in the upcoming eligible American customers in the upcoming weeks. Brilliant. My camera has just died, so just give me a second here while we fix this. Let me put you back on starting soon. Right, we should be back in action right now. Sorry about that. Please don't forget, if you are still here, to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I was saying, PayPal have disclosed that users could convert PYUSD to supported cryptocurrencies, transfer them between their accounts, and move them to external crypto wallets. PYUSD is going to be, you can use that like any other Ethereum token. You can use it in DeFi. You can use it on decentralized exchanges. exchanges. So we are seeing cryptocurrency regulation entering the space through traditional financial services. So this is what we're seeing again here. We saw a Wall Street-backed centralized exchange launch earlier in July, I would like to say. And this had tokens like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin listed on the exchanges. That performed very well. We saw a nice move to the upside for those tokens off the back of that. We're now seeing PayPal enter the space with their fully regulated stablecoin, which is obviously not going to see any regulation concerns. Probably, I would like to say probably there. So what we are seeing here is there's a lot of concerns around regulation in the cryptocurrency space, but traditional financial services are seemingly able to make these projects and push them into cryptocurrency and already be fully regulated before they do so. So this is how I believe traditional finance is going to enter the markets and how they are going to replace some leading decentralized projects, which is not what we want to see here. But this is, traditional finance is not going to get left behind. They are doing their very best to make sure they don't get left behind. And with projects like this and with the benefit of having regulation on their side, they could see a huge amount of benefits there. Let's see what else is going on here. So Lido welcomed 10,000 new stakers last month. So Lido, the popular liquid staking protocol, saw a jump in popularity in July. Really positive news there. Let's take a look at the next one. The CoinCheck Hack, the $500 million crime. Now I'm going to drop the link to this in today's chat. I just wanted to point out here that if you have not already, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com, press that big blue sign up button and take a look at all of the articles on the website. We push out so much information every single day and I just want you guys to take advantage of that while you can. We've got some really exciting things coming very, very soon to Crypto Saving Expert as well. So make sure to sign up now before it's too late. Let's see what else is going on here. So Reddit community tokens, Moons and Bricks saw 50% on Kraken listing. So essentially, Reddit have created tokens that can go in different groups, essentially, in the different forums. And these tokens can be earned by people that comment in these communities and they can be traded, etc. And these two tokens have launched on the Kraken exchange and they've sold 50% due to that listing. So is this something we're going to see continue? Potentially. Is this something I am a fan of? I believe we could see a lot of pump and dump with these tokens. These tokens are essentially meme coins. The utility they have is that they can be earned through posting in Reddit. Long-term prices though, I don't see much benefit. I believe they are meme coins and they are going to be very, very volatile assets until no one's interested anymore. But let's take a look at the next one here. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. This is what we want to talk about this morning. Let me pull this all up correctly here. So Bitcoin analysis. Let me take a look at the chat quickly. Let's see what's going on here. So good morning, Jess. It's 5:15 a.m. here in Oklahoma City. I'm ready for tacos on Tuesday. 5:15 a.m. That's very, very impressive time. That's very, very early. I don't think I'd ever been up at 5:15 a.m. before. Let me have a sip of my coffee this morning. Right, okay, let's see what's going on in this article. So, we haven't seen Bitcoin or Ethereum move off the back of the PYUSD news, off the back of that PayPal stablecoin. But what we are seeing here is a report from Matrixport saying Bitcoin could dip to $26,000 due to its seasonal summer lull. Now, what we see typically is Bitcoin usually sees a little bit of a drop towards the end of the summer, August, September, when people are out doing other things. So Matrixport is saying we probably will see this again. Now, when you take a look at the Bitcoin monthly return heat map, you can see that August and September aren't usually very good months. I mean, July should have been better than what it was. What we are seeing here is in August 2022, minus 14%, 2021, plus 13%. If you take a look at the Augusts that were in bear market, it's not looking too positive. It's not looking too good. And what you can see here is the volatility majorly declines during these months as well, typically. So maybe we will be seeing some downwards action. But let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin and see what I think. Let's see what's in store here today. So as I've been saying here on the channel, I'm expecting some sideways action. If I'm being brutally honest with myself and looking at what could happen here, I'm expecting to see what none of us want to see, and this is something like this. Now, obviously, nothing is financial advice. This is just my own opinion. I think we have a few months to go before we see the volatility that we all deserve right now. So we have that Bitcoin halving that's expected to be on the 26th of April 2024. We have some levels of support around these important levels here, $25,000. We also have some major levels of resistance as well. So we have this level obviously at $32,000, which we cannot break above, it seems to be. So what I'm expecting within the next couple of months, which is not something I would really like to share, is some sideways action, lots of sideways action, maybe some slow declines along the way, and then we hit that Bitcoin hop. Maybe that was too long. Sideways action, sideways action, sideways action, maybe a slight downturn. And then I'm expecting to see some nice breakouts. And then I'm expecting to see some nice movements, potentially. But let's keep a close eye on that. I just don't see the volatility entering the market anytime soon. We have a long way to go until the Bitcoin halving. I know it's getting closer and closer every single day, but it's still a long way to go until the 26th of April. So until then, I'm not getting my hopes up, and what I'm doing in this period of time is I'm swing trading. I'm buying supports and I'm selling resistances. That is the method that I'm taking right now. With that lack of volatility, we don't really have any other choices. I would say we have a level of support here on the shorter time frames at 28,700 and a level of resistance which is currently at 29,400. But will Bitcoin just completely ignore these and just continue sideways? Potentially. That's what it seems to be doing at the moment, and that's what it likes to do, even though we all hate it. But that is all we have for today, so thank you very much for tuning in. As always, sorry for that little camera blip in the middle of today's stream. I hope you have enjoyed, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you